Okay, here with Denis Kang, signed a new deal with the UFC. First of all, congratulations. You are now a UFC fighter.
I sure am. It's been a long time coming, so I'm happy about it.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. You've been rumored to be going to the UFC for a long, long time. People have been clamoring to see you in the UFC. A lot of people haven't had a real chance to see the Denis Kang that most of the Canadians have seen in action. Tell us what the UFC fans can expect.
Well, I'm a pretty well-rounded fighter. I don't think there's many fighters out there that have my combination of stand-up and ground combined with athleticism. But I've also got a lot of experience. I've got a lot of fights, over 40 fights. So I'm not in there I'm not afraid to get in there and mix it up or even go to the ground. I can basically fight any kind of strategy that I want. I also like to fight pretty aggressively. I'm in there for the knockout or the submission. I'm not there to win a decision, So anybody who's watching me fight can expect a pretty explosive and dynamic fight.
But is there anyone out there that you'd like to test yourself against?
Anybody, really. Of course, Anderson Silva he's the champion. He's the best right now in the weight class. So it would be an honor to fight against somebody like him. But I understand that I got to work my way up. A lot of good guys in that division. Damian Maia, Talas Leite. Now you got Toquinho from BTT. It's a huge talent pool. So, it's basically I could just name anybody and it's going to be a tough fight. There's no really any easy fight in the middleweight in UFC.
You talk about Anderson Silva. Very few people that I talk to want to fight Anderson Silva. He's considered by some to be the pound-for-pound best. How high do you rate him compared to the others?
I think he's the pound-for-pound best right now. I don't think there's anybody that's... When we're talking pound-for-pound best, we're talking pure skill, and the guy is a very, very skilled fighter. Having said that, he's still a human being. He's still got holes, and he can still be beaten.
If you fight against Anderson Silva, what's going to happen?
I think I'm going to win, but I'm not there yet, so we're going to have to wait,
You've had a little bit of an up-and-down career the last few fights. Tell us what's happened.
Yeah, I kind of lost my focus for a while. I'd fought a lot before that, and I was feeling a little burnt out. I wasn't really that into training or really grinding it out for the victory, It took a few of those losses to really give me like a kick in the ass and get my ass back, into the mode that I was before. I've had 2 really good fights and 2 good training camps to go with it. So, I'm feeling in really good shape right now. I'm feeling very confident. I hope that I have a fight in UFC soon against somebody tough.
You last fought Marvin Eastman in the Raw organization. Not too many people have had a chance to see that fight. Tell us how that fight played out.
It was pretty quick. It started off with us just kind of standing up. I gave him a few jabs to the body, and then just landed an overhand right, which caught him flush and put him out. I think I was lucky with that first big right hand, and I didn't get injured, so I'm very happy.
I think you make your own luck in MMA and being very humble in saying that you were lucky. But you've been lucky many times. You've been lucky. And let's talk about your future. Obviously, you're going to be in the UFC. You want to be the middleweight champion. How many fights do you see yourself having to win to get a shot at Anderson Silva?
That all depends. That all depends who I beat and how I beat them. We've seen, things like Brock Lesnar get a title fight after only 1 victory, I'm a firm believer that people have to earn their shots at a title shot, and there's people ahead of me in the rankings for a fight against Anderson Silva, the champion. So I think it's only fair to let them have it and let me prove myself and work my way up.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. We got Dan Henderson. He's going to be facing off against Rich Franklin. That looks like it's going to be a good fight. Who do you pick and why?
I'm going to go with my man Dan on this one. I think he's got that big right hand and a lot of experience, but it's going to be a tough fight. Rich Franklin's a tough nut to crack because he's a southpaw and he's so tall. He's got an awkward style. So I think it's going to be a really good fight. Both the guys are also going to be coming in a little heavier because it's a light heavyweight. So, it's, we'll see what happens, but I'm pulling for Dan Henderson right now, but Franklin is no easy fight.
Okay, we also got Forrest Griffin. He's going to be taking on Rashad Evans. It's a tough fight to pick. Who do you got in that fight?
I know Rashad pretty good. I train with him, and I know how good he is. I think he's going to take this one. He's on a huge streak. But at the same time, like I said before, I mean, he's fighting off against Forrest Griffin, who's the champion, and he's not the champion for any reason. It's because he's freaking good. So he's really got his work cut out for him. But he can do it if he sticks to a good game plan and uses his wrestling. Forrest Griffin is training with Randy Couture, so you know he's working his wrestling as well. He's training with Jacare, so his jiu-jitsu is improving as well. I mean, we're going to see. You know, it's a 5-round fight, so it's going to be who has the better cardio.
Oh, that's interesting that you say that. My last question is going to be about Georges St-Pierre. It's a guy that you've spent some time with. Tell us how good Georges St-Pierre is and what's going to happen with his fight with BJ Penn.
The kid is really good. George he's been a huge inspiration to me. You know, just seeing him train and seeing the way that he's disciplined, and he's a real champ. You know, I think he is going to beat BJ Penn. I think that his style is really, because of his wrestling, has such a strong wrestling base, and he's also so proficient in the stand-up and the ground. It's going to be very hard for people to solve his style. BJ Penn can do it. Will he do it? No, because I don't think that he's that durable. Is as durable as George. George is a workhorse. He can grind it out. He can do it. BJ Penn usually seems to fade in the later rounds. You know, I think you can look for George to establish his dominance in that fight.
And do you have any parting thoughts for the fans out there who've been sticking by you for a long, long time?
Do I have any what?
Do you have any parting thoughts for the fans out there who are going to be sticking together with you for a long, long time?
Yeah, I hope that my first fight in the UFC, you know, can rightly introduce myself to everybody in North America, and to anybody that's been sticking with me throughout all these years. I want to thank you for your support and sticking with me throughout all my fights.
Really appreciate you joining us, man.
Martial arts, what?
Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. My pleasure.